This is the FSU School of Theater Scene Shop tutorial on the panel saw. The panel saw is really just a circular saw mounted on a track. When in use, you pull the trigger. There is a locking pin to keep the trigger engaged so that you can have a more easy time of moving the saw, particularly if you're doing a rip cut. So that's what that locking pin is for. For an up and down regular cross cut, you can just hold the trigger and go through. Position your material on the rollers across to where approximately you want to cut. You can sight the blade through a piece of plexi that was provided here on the front of the tool. You can also see through the side here where it's going to cut into the material. So make sure you index your material properly. Keep your hands away from the blade when the tool is running. Pull on the trigger, go all the way down through the material, all the way to the bottom of the track, all the way back up to complete the cut. Remove the material from the two sides, and that's how you cross-cut your material. To do a rip cut through a piece of material, position the carriage to where approximately you want it, and then you can lock it right here. There's a thumb screw on this red plate that comes on this side of the saw, and that will keep the carriage locked into place. To rotate the blade, or to rotate the saw body, there is a black knob here. It looks like it twists around. It actually pulls, and then you can twist the whole saw carriage. This saw is now positioned for the rip to go in this direction. You can turn the body so that it goes the other way, and you can rip from the other direction. Just be aware where the front of the saw is and where you're going from. To position for a rip, position the smallest of the material toward the top, and as you guide it through, remember you're going to turn this on and lock it in with that pin. As you guide it through, you will move from one side of the cut to the other side and pull it the rest of the way through. Make sure you support that top piece so that it doesn't grab onto the blade and kick out and potentially throw that material in that direction. When you're finished with your cut, remove your material, turn the saw off before you leave the area. And when you've finished with a rip cut, please position the saw back to its cross-cut position in the fully up position as a resting for the tool. Make sure you keep your hands away from the saw blade. If the tool binds in a cut, stop it, work it back off of the material, and then just reapproach the cut. Never leave an unattended tool running, so because you can lock this in, make sure you don't walk away from it. Keep one hand on the saw and the other one clearly away from the blade when you're operating it. So you can keep it on your hand. You can actually keep both hands on the saw body when you're doing a cross cut, or you can do that when you're doing a rip cut. As we talked about, you need to move your position from one side of the saw to the other. This has been the safe operation for the panel saw.